It is on you, Mr. Banks. The other day, while waiting in line at a checkout at a store, I overheard someone mention something about wanting the newest release DVD. So the first thing that came to mind was, why don't you check out the library? They have the newest releases. The look that they gave me on their face was a mixture of shock and, you're kidding, right? They asked me if libraries were still around. Why would we have libraries with all the technologies that have come up? I hear this story a lot. Despite what many people think, libraries are not dying, outdated institutions, but they're hubs for evolving communities. Let me explain how. Most of us have lived through a recession. When the cost of living rises, we have to make cuts. The first things that we have to cut are the luxuries. Some of those luxury items to go first include, but are not limited to, daycare, movies, going to the gym, cable TV, and internet. Just because we're cutting out those luxuries doesn't mean that we have to do without them. That's where the libraries come in. Over the past few years, libraries have changed from the quiet, dusty places that you guys all visited as children. They've adapted to meet the needs of their communities. However, every community is different. Libraries currently offer a large variety of things, and it depends on the community. We offer free Wi-Fi, public computers, classes. Some of the classes that different libraries offer: writing resumes, recycled crafts, fitness, relaxation, cooking classes, book clubs. Some libraries have partnered with AARP to offer tax aid assistance, as well as other organizations to help people apply for public assistance and things like that that they need. Some libraries have gone above and beyond. They allow you to check out art, tools, kitchen appliances, anything you can imagine. Some libraries across the country are checking out to patrons for that reason, because they know their patrons have no access to those things. According to David Manjari's article in the Forbes magazine entitled "Why Public Libraries Matter and How They Can Do More," more than half of young adults and seniors living in poverty in the United States use public libraries to access the internet. They use this access, among other purposes, to find work, apply to college, secure government benefits, learn about critical medical treatments. For all of this, libraries cost just $42 per person throughout the country. As we look at this graph from Information Services Asset Study, you can see this is over a 10-year span from 2002 to 2012. The number of items that was purchased increased drastically. Ebooks alone went up 1,744%. That's an incredible increase. Video items went up over 86%. Programming, this is all per capita, they went up 19%. The numbers show that the needs for library to provide free accesses for the communities are needed. My biggest fear is, as the cost of living rises and the government continues to cut budgets for libraries, our children and our grandchildren will not have access to the free resources that most of us take for granted. The International Literacy Association's publication, A Case for Children's Right to Read, states, "Literacy allows people to develop their potential, earn their livelihoods, and participate fully in communities and society. It is this thread that connects us to one another. It's the basis of who we are and how we live." This is just some interesting facts about libraries. Because more than a quarter of US households don't have computers with an internet connection, libraries do. They come to the libraries to do schoolwork, Facebook, games, other things, but that's not for us to judge. We offer the free access. 17,000 public libraries, including museums, are in the United States. That's more than there are Starbucks. These are just a few of interesting facts that I found. According to Danielle Wyatt in her article, technology hasn't killed public libraries. It's inspired them to transform and stay relevant. She wrote, critically and revealingly, libraries are evaluated based on traditional metrics, such as loans and membership numbers, capturing only a fraction of the value that they contribute to society and to the collective life. Failure to recognize this by governments and policymakers put at risk the diverse and nuanced ways that libraries shape our futures. Once again, in 2020, our government have called for a total shutdown of the Institute of Museum and Library Services, noted as IMLS. IMLS is the primary source for federal support for the nation's 123,000 libraries and 35,000 museums. Cutting this funding means countless libraries will lose access to grants that allow them to replace the crumbling technology that they're currently using and the infrastructures in rural and urban communities depend on. Libraries often provide the only internet access that many Americans rely on to apply for jobs, access training, or even learn new skills. Libraries and museums and archives are too important to every American for us not to stand up in the face of this bad budget proposal and fight back. I ask you one thing. If you can't do this, I have another suggestion. I ask that you contact your congressman or your representative and tell them to vote no on the proposal to cut. If you're not able to do this, then bring a friend the next time you come to the library to visit one of our clubs, one of our groups, to show them how amazing libraries truly are. In closing, remember this. Darwin theorized in order to survive in an environment, a species must adapt and evolve to survive. This is exactly what's happening to libraries. Perhaps we've lost something, but also, again, we're gaining something as well. Thank you.
Heather is awesome.